Hello, welcome to Board Deck and Dice. Today I'm taking a look at Outpost Siberia. This is a game from IDW, a cooperative game in which you're trying to survive an outpost in Siberia. Strange. Let's see what I think. No, let's not see what I think. Let's never see what I think. Let's go see how it plays and then I'll come back and tell you what I think. Never. So in Outpost Siberia you have various types of cards, essentially two types of cards, but they have a lot of information on. You have character cards. You will choose one of these per player and they have an amount of health and a special ability, which usually amounts to discarding something to get something else. Everyone will take one of those. Then we have threat cards, which have an attack value and a health and usually a special power. We have bad event cards, which you must pay for and then do as they say, and good event cards, which you must pay for and do as they say. If you ever can't pay for one of these cards, you lose. One player loses a health. These cards make up two different types of deck, and there's different information on them. When you draw these cards into your hand, if you keep them in your hand, they are worth that much damage. If you instead play them to the middle, they act as the item here. So they're items and damage. What you would do is take a massive set of cards, set them up for the difficulty, so you'll have two groups of decks. Let me zoom out a bit. So you'll have one deck here and one deck here. And one deck will be the Outpost deck, where you will draw from, and another will be the threat deck or the expedition deck. So you'll have a character card in front of you as well. Move everything up slightly. So on your turn you will draw two cards here, and you will choose one of them to go in your hand and one of them to go in the middle for everyone to use. So in this case I'm going to put water here. I'm going to keep the food because food is really, because 2 attack is useful because the attack values only go up to 3. Then I can use equipment if I want, which is from the middle. There's no reason for me to use water, so I'll just leave it there. And then I draw from the expedition deck. I've got a threat, so instantly someone's going to lose health, and at the end of each round, while this threat is in play, one player loses 1 health. A round it goes on until every player is exhausted. So unfortunately, because I've just drawn this, I can't use any of my items yet, so I just leave that out, and then I exhaust my player and the next player goes, and you can choose in which order they go. Let's say that this card was already here. I could, on the use equipment, assign damage to it. Now there I've assigned 2 damage to it, but the total damage is 7. So let's say we've done a few more, put the flamethrower out as well. So then I've got another 2 there, and we'll get it all the way up to 7. That's another 1 and a 1, another 2 and a 1. So this threat now has 7 damage on it. That threat is not defeated until I use an item weapon, a flamethrower or a ice axe, I think it is. That will not be discarded until I use a weapon from the middle to do so. Okay, so then they would all be discarded. If an event comes up, you must pay there. I must pay 1 water, so this is gone, and then I must discard 1 first aid kit from the supply if possible. As I don't have any, then otherwise discard the card from the top of the Outpost deck. You keep on going until you get through the entire expedition deck. And that is how you win the game. If one of you dies, you lose the game. If you get 5 threats, which are the beasts and animals out here, you lose the game. That is Outpost Siberia. Outpost Siberia is not very good. It just doesn't work very well at all. It's far too hard. We played on normal and then we tried on easy, and the game just batters you. The lose conditions are too easy to meet. The biggest frustration with this game, I think, is that it seems to me that all the ingredients for a good game are there, they're just not realised. And the way you have to defeat the threats is just painful. Not only do you have to put the right amount of damage on them, which seems weird, you're like assigning damage to them but not actually doing damage until you use a weapon. I mean, it even would be better to assign the damage to the weapons and then use that weapon to take out a load of baddies all at once. Or multiple times, but when you use the weapon, that's it gone, that's all the damage gone, you're in the discard pile, now you have to wait for another weapon, which would be fine if cards were plentiful, but most cases you're getting 2 cards a turn, one of which you can keep in your hand, one of which you have to assign as an item. If you don't have food and water on the middle, you're knackered. If you don't have a weapon in the middle, you're knackered. The damage only goes from 1 to 3 on the damage cards, which are the ones you keep in your hand. That section of the card, when you keep it in your hand, you can only use it for damage. It only goes 1 to 3, and most monsters are going to take at least 4 off. I think 4 was the lowest I saw. There was a 5, there's a Yeti that has 13. But you want to focus on the monsters that have the most hurtful effects at the end of the round. But it's just impossible to manage. Some monsters come out that only let you draw 1 card. Brilliant. Now I can't even get damage in my hand, or I can't get a weapon on the table. It's just... The powers for the characters require you to discard cards again. It's like this game is... You go into this game with both your legs broken, and the game then breaks both your arms and pokes you in the eye as well. It is not a fun experience, and a game like this should be a fun experience. I'm not saying it shouldn't be a challenge. Definitely there should be a challenge in a game like this, but the only fun I had was because of the game group I was with. You know, a bad game doesn't necessarily derail the group. It doesn't make us all moody. If it's going to get over that way, we'll just stop playing. But we were just laughing at the odds of it, and yeah, the artwork's nice, the cards are nice. Well, nice, it's got horrible pictures on. It just doesn't work, and this is a system that could quite easily work with a few changes. The damage having to be done by a weapon, that seriously needs to change. Like I say, you can either, once you've assigned enough damage to a creature, it's gone, or you assign damage to a weapon and you can keep on using it. You don't discard it. So you use your axe to do 5 damage. You remove the 5 damage, discard that, but you keep your axe with whatever other damage you've assigned to it, which could represent the effort you're swinging it with, for example. You know, if you exhaust all that damage, then you have to discard the axe and it's broken. Something like that would be more fun, where you feel like you can actually prepare for the threats that are coming, because you've got no chance otherwise. So let's not waste any more time. Intimidation factor. It's clever. The cards are clever. The multiple use cards. If you take them one way, they're the threats. If you take them another way, they're either in the middle as items or in your hands as damage. I like that. Going into this game, I thought I've heard it's bad things. It's going to be rubbish. Read the rules and thought, oh, okay. Well, that seems like it should work, you know, apart from I did have serious doubts about the way damage was dealt. But yeah, so the intimidation factor's quite low until you actually play it, and then you see all these bad events coming out and they far outweigh the good events, and yeah, it's rulebook, fine, no complaints. It told me what I needed to know. Fun. And that's all I'll say about fun. Am I adding it to my collection? Not a chance. I would rather bite my fingers down to the knuckles than add this game to my collection in its current state. Now, I think there is a game in there. I think it can be restored, but some serious reworking of those mechanisms is needed for me to look at this game. Thanks very much for watching Board Deck and Dice. I will see you next time.